Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. I saw a different type of movie, at least for me, tonight. A Bollywood film, and I don't think I've ever watched in its entirety a Bollywood film before in my life. And I have a feeling I saw one of the better Bollywood films perhaps ever made. Perhaps actually one of the best films I've seen in quite some time. Emotional. I want to say this correctly. Please pardon me if I don't. Salaam, VENKY. Venkatesh is a young man who is unfortunately diagnosed at a very young age with a specific degenerative muscular dystrophy, I believe. Long story short, his mother kind of becomes his advocate, trying to help him through life. His father, not so much. His sister gets caught in the middle of his parents' issues with each other and so forth. So it's really mom and son against the world for quite some time, for 10 years, and then the sister comes back into the picture. Now, all this is not in a beginning, middle, end type of way. Storytelling, there's flashbacks, there's flash forwards, there is a conscience character, I guess we could call it. And you really get the full picture here of what a horrible illness can do to someone. But the VENKY himself is the main character of VENKY is based on a true story. He is a person who tries to see the best in life. He's trying to enjoy life as much as he can with the time that he has, with the capabilities that he has. He becomes a chess player, which I respect, a chess tutor, respect that, and so on and so forth. But and he also has a bit of a girlfriend. He has a bit of a young lady friend, which is nice. But then unfortunately, he was only expected to live to the age of 16, if that. He actually gets to be, we see in the film, I think there was 4 actors total that played this character at different age ranges. We get to see the 23/24-year-old version, who is predominantly on screen. Very good actor, great actor. I don't know his name. All these characters and all these actors are pretty new to me. This was not like one of those, I'm an American, so for me this is a foreign film. For people in India, it's obviously not. But I have noticed that my YouTube playlist, my audience breakdown, the second most popular country for my videos is India. So I'm going to honor my Indian brethren and sisterin by this review. What a great film. I'm really glad that this is because I've been thinking about doing this for a while. An American goes to the Bollywood movies or whatever type of review series, because I do a lot of these instant movie reviews. Pretty much any big time movie or even small time art house movie, I've done a Mike's Instant Movie Review for 3 or 4 years now. I even predicted that Frances McDormand would win an Oscar for a movie that she did, which she ended up winning the Oscar for that. So I like to think of myself as a bit of an informed cinemaphile. I make my own films and write screenplays, and I'm an actor, as you all know. But for this, I was just amazed. Once I got into the theater, I'm glad that I got into the theater before the movie started. I did not leave the theater at all for any restroom breaks and so forth, which basically means I was tuned in to the story of VENKY. And basically what it comes down to, I guess I haven't hit the big point here, through his story of his mother, his sister, his girlfriend, his doctor that he becomes a friend with. Unfortunately, and he also has kind of a spiritual guru at the chess center type of thing. His issues, his health gets so bad that it's basically a foregone conclusion that his 13th hospital stay is going to be his last. And VENKY has a wish for his mother to help him fulfill. He wants his mother to help him fulfill this wish. Now, me being me, I assumed he wanted to have sex, not with the mother, but with a a prostitute or some such thing. That's just how my god awful brain goes. But I mean, I'm just thinking how I would think. But his mother is not. She's not propositioned to go get him a prostitute. She basically, Venky wants her to help him die with euthanasia, which is not a sexy topic, but he wants her to help him die with euthanasia, so that his organs in his body could be harvested and save up to 5 other people's lives, which is a nice thought. And of course, his mother, she's kind of saying that she can't do it, she won't do it, but at the same time, she's actually asking about it. And it's what it is. The problem that she can't help him do this is because it's illegal in India at the time. Which, and when I was a kid here in the United States of America, euthanasia was a big thing. It was a big topic of debate. There was a gentleman named Dr. Jack Kevorkian who some people nicknamed him the Doctor of Death or Dr. Death because he was a big advocate for euthanasia and suicide-assisted machinery and stuff like that. And that debate seems to have died down, no pun intended, over the last couple of years, and instead there's a bigger debate or a different debate about guns and school shootings. So just, as I go through my life, I can pinpoint, the big arguments here in the United States have been like kind of abortion. That's a big one. And like I said, euthanasia used to be a big talking point, but I think that's been replaced by gun rights. But, at the heart of it, it's still life and death. So Venky wants his human body to be euthanized so that he can live on through others. And in this process, it's against the law in India at this time. And I guess this movie takes place in 2003, 2004 for the most part, and then flashbacks to Venky's childhood. He was born in 1979 and so forth, the real Venky. So for me, this was a great movie. I mean, this was very dramatic. It was sad. I mean, it's sad, but it's also, in a way, inspiring. And whenever I see a movie like this or see some type of story about someone with a major handicap of any kind, it always makes me feel a little bit guilty or a little bit inspired. Guilty that I'm not living my life to its fullest, and inspired to try and do so. So hopefully this review will inspire you perhaps to go see this film. You might be saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, I don't live in India. I can't see these Indian films, these Bollywood movies of which you profess. But I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, folks, and if you look hard enough, most people who complain about that there's no good movies don't actually go to the movies anymore. You know what I mean? They Netflix and chill, and they complain about Hollywood, yet they still watch Netflix all the fucking time. But in my opinion, this movie is well worth the ticket price. It was covered in my AMC subscription deal. I have a nice subscription deal. I pay about $25 a month. Maybe less, actually, 23 or 24 bucks a month to see 3 movies a week. If you do the simple math, that's 12 or 13 movies a month, depending if your month is 4 weeks or 4.5 weeks, okay? So basically, for a pittance, you're seeing movies on the big screen the way that they're intended to be, including Salaam, Venky. There's even some stuff in this movie. I guess there's one thing about Bollywood movies I did know going into this one, because I've been doing a little bit of research on Bollywood films before seeing this movie, believe it or not. And I guess that music and musicals, or even like a lot of their movies have like a musical moment or a musical scene. And I believe there was a grand total of 3 in this movie. But to me, they all worked very effectively. They weren't cheesy. They didn't break the flow. Whoever directed this thing knew what he was doing or she was doing. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the director, but at the end of the movie, it says movie by something and crew. I don't know if it was Venky and crew, but that's the main guy's name. But in any event, kudos to the director and crew. I thought it was a great film. I'm curious if this thing, I caught a little glimpse of the rating online, and it said 8.9 out of 10, which is pretty damn good. I mean, you normally don't see something that high. So, I mean, this is really a great film. So, whether it was Bollywood or Hollywood, I think any Hollywood, this would be considered a great film. And guess what? It's all in Indian language of India for the most part. And I had to read the subtitles in English, but the subtitles I thought were nicely done. I did catch like maybe one spelling error in my opinion, but I know that the English language sometimes has different variants if you're in England or the United States, so who knows, did the subtitling. But I could clearly understand everything. The subtitles moved at a nice pace for me. It's interesting that I guess the Indian characters occasionally have a couple of phrases in English that they speak just as part of their native tongue or part of their vernacular. There's some English expressions that popped in once in a while. So what the fuck? So I like the movie a lot. You know, like I said, hopefully I can keep this inspiration or motivation from the life of Venky as I pursue my own dreams and goals. I like to say goals, not dreams. Dreams are things you think about when you're asleep. Goals are things you actively work on doing when you're awake. Okay, so A Distance from Avalon, my book, my wonderful magical realism gothic horror. You should all be buying it. You should all be purchasing it. Unless you're purchasing Fight or Play Basketball, my coming of age basketball boxing movie, book, novel I should say. You just go to MikeMessier.com, you scroll to the bottom, and you see all my wonderful Amazon links, and you buy a copy of my goddamn book. It's not that hard, okay? So that's it, folks. I'm very impressed with Venky's life. I'm very impressed with the way he went out. He had a noble death. He had a noble life. Apparently, this was 2004, and apparently India in 2011, and then later in 2018, passed some laws that were kind of in Venky's favor. So hail to Venky. Although his last wish for himself was not granted because of his bravery and because of his story and all these things, you know, things happen for the better for him. I would also say, that was interrupted for a moment, but I would also say that in this film, there's all these people coming out of the theaters now. Some other movie must have just gotten out. There's this weird deal in this town where people like take blankets into the movie theater. I don't know. But in any event, I was rooting for the doctor. You know, the doctor's a real nice guy, and I kept thinking, is the doctor going to put the prowl on, like, Venky's sister or maybe the female journalist? You know, I was kind of waiting for some B story. Like, this is the typical American moviegoer who's always thinking of the B and C storyline, and there has to be some romance in this thing. Thinking that maybe the doctor, who's, you know, pretty good-looking guy there, is he going to hook up with Venky's sister? They seem to have a bond. And then the journalist who kind of comes and reports the story, I thought the doctor might go after her. But at least in the film, it didn't happen. So if I was writing this thing, I guess it would have a different kind of subplot. But hail, Venky. Salaam, Venky, great film. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. This has been your American Goes to Bollywood Instant Movie Review, Mike's Instant Movie Review.